I love the movies. I especially love going to a movie theater and watching a movie with a group of people. It's one of my favorite things in the entire world. I love it just as much today as I did whenever I was a little kid. When I was a little kid, the first movie I ever saw in a theater was Hercules, the animated Disney Hercules. And could you imagine if when I said that, what I actually meant was the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson version of Hercules? First off, I was not a kid whenever that movie came out. When did that movie? I think that movie came out in like 2016. I'm not going to look it up. If I had waited until I was a junior in college to see my first movie in a movie theater and it was Hercules starring The Rock, I think you know what? I think maybe I would just let AI take me. I think I would just I would close my eyes and warmly embrace their cold touch, because that really would have swayed me in the wrong direction. But thankfully it wasn't that Hercules. Thankfully it was the Disney animated film Hercules, and boy did it get to me. Boy did I just love it. I loved everything about it. I loved sitting in a big room in a big cushy chair with my big scary family all around me, frightening people. They're frightening individuals in my family. I was raised by wolves. How do you think I got this way? Ow! But it was an incredible experience. You know, you're sitting there, you got your salty snacks, you got your sweet snacks, you got your sody pop, a big sody pop, just sucking on that sweet straw, watching the coolest he's cutting the head off of the Hydra and two more are growing in its space. What is going on? And there's a beautiful cartoon woman, and look, a little Danny DeVito rolling around being a card, and it really stuck with me. I remember that warm feeling of like, oh, this is something special. This is storytelling. It's art. It's a communal experience. It's food. It's electric. It's electric what happened in there. And then I saw the second movie ever. My second movie ever in theaters was it was the movie Anastasia. Do you all remember that movie, Anastasia? It was another animated film, and my family thought, hey, we're 1-0. There's another good animated movie in theaters. Let's take old Curly to see that. Well, there's a character. The problem with Anastasia is, although Hercules did have like literal demons in it, that I wasn't scared of them at all. What happened was, in Anastasia, there's a character named Rasputin. Now Rasputin, I'm gonna have him look at this. This was in a children's movie, and look at the eyes, and he's got the potions and the teeth, and he's a freak show. And they put this up on screen. It scared the bejesus out of me when I was a little boy. I was horrified. I believed in heaven and hell back then. Maybe I still do. Maybe that'll be a different video. But I was certain that what I was watching was a peek into the bowels of hell. So I had my family. We got up and we left early. To this day, I don't know what happened in Anastasia, but those experiences really stuck with me. All throughout my childhood, going to the movies was something that was super special. It was super fun. It was something we did as a family. It was something we did with friends. Midnight premieres. Let me talk to you for a moment about midnight premieres when they were actually midnight premieres. Not like how they are now. No. Nowadays, if a movie's coming out on a Friday, it really comes out on Thursday night, because they start showing it at like 7 p.m. and they have showings every like hour on the hour the rest of the night all the way through midnight. It used to be, back in my day, if it was the midnight premiere release, that movie started at midnight, the night, the morning, I guess. It's so stupid. Can I just say, it's so stupid that midnight is technically the next day morning. Fuck you. Fuck you, no it's not. It's not the next morning until the sun starts to come up. I think we need to get a hold of the current administration of this country, and maybe several this country. Certainly they seem quite stable and normal and up for big new ideas. And we need to talk about what midnight actually is. What midnight to like 6 a.m. That's not the morning, that's the night. That's not what this is about. What this is about is, you used to sit, you would have to stay in line. You would have to stand in line all night. You would have to get there. We would get there, me and my friends would get to, if we were seeing like a Star Wars movie, if we, like whenever we went and saw Star Wars The Last Jedi, we stood in line at like 1 p.m. to ensure our spots, because also movie theaters didn't used to allow you to reserve your seats. It was a dog fight, it was a knife fight, it was a fight for a knife in the mud, like Logan Roy always says. To get your seat, to get a proper seat to go see, was almost always like a big IP thing that you had to see the night of, otherwise it was going to get spoiled. Like a superhero superhero movie or a Star Wars movie or a Star Trek movie. Don't really like those, but you get it. But it was all part of this big thing. I remember I saw Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith at midnight, the night it released, and there was a 16 screen movie theater in my hometown, and all 16 screens were showing it. All 16 screens were completely sold out. The giant parking lot in front of the movie theater was one massive line just so that they could keep people outside, and it was a single file line to get in, and they would just feed you into the next theater. It was crazy, and it was awesome. There were kids like me dressed as Darth Vader or Obi-Wan, and then there were like teenagers dressed as Darth Vader or Obi-Wan or Yoda or whatever, and then there were some adults that were also dressed up, and that was fine, and they just steered clear of me and my friends. Everything's gonna be fine as long as they do that. It's all good. You keep dressing up, grown-ups. It's fun. You're a kid at heart. And you would be exhausted at school the next day. You'd have to go to school on a Friday if it wasn't a summer movie, and you would be exhausted. But you got to see the movie first. Most of the kids in your class didn't get to go see the movie because their parents couldn't be swayed by a strong argument from a child. I was able to make very strong arguments as a child. Now, why am I saying all this? Why am I talking about this? Why did you click on the video? The reason is movie theaters appear to be in peril, according to the powers that be. People are saying that movie theaters are going away. They're dying. Things like this, and I just don't. I hope it's not true. I don't know if it's true. I certainly hope not. That looking at some of the statistics, it's like, well, the box office continues to grow year over year, or at least remains steady. But that's really just for like big IP movies and franchises and stuff. And certainly, I see the effect of this sort of thing on like in local independent movie theaters, which are so much fun. Listen, guys, I'm an AMC Stubs A-list member, which let me just tell you a little bit about what that means. All for the low place of around $24 a month, you get to see up to 4 movies a week. Now that's a lot. Sometimes I'll do it. Sometimes I'll hit the hat trick plus 1 and I'll get all 4 in. It used to be just 3, and that felt like a lot there for a while. But it's the summer, baby, and there's a lot of things out there that you want to sit down and see. But in addition to getting to see up to 4 movies a week, you get $5 rewards for if you spend like X amount of money, it converts into a $5 reward that you can use for concessions and things like that. You also get to reserve your seats ahead of time via the app so that you know exactly where you're going to be sitting and you don't have to worry about it and you don't have to pay any additional fees because it's all included in your membership fee. And on top of all that, you get a dedicated express lane for you and your fellow Stubs members only that you get to skip the concessions line. Now, and there's the general population line and then there's the VIP line. And you get to be in the VIP line that has preferred access to the cashiers to where you can get your popcorn and your soda. Now, sometimes the general population line is shorter than the VIP line. And there have been instances where I will hop into the regular line and forego the VIP line. Now, every now and then, this is a rare moment inside of a rare moment. Every now and then, you will get a team of cashiers that are really strict on actually enforcing, no, let the VIPs come first. And you'll end up standing there, and you'll be like me, standing there, and you'll feel like a crazy. You're like, no, I promise, I'm not in, I'm a VIP. I just thought that the line would move faster because it was shorter, and I can't do math, and I'm scared. But you're gonna get that corn anyway. But it's a great program. The AMC Stubs A-List program, it's a great program, and I love it. Now, is AMC the antithesis of, the local independent movie theater? Of course it is. I understand that completely, but I like to go to both. There are certain movies that I like to see in an independent movie theater, and certain movies I like to see up on the big IMAX screen at an AMC. And I think a lot of people feel that way. But this notion that movie theaters are going the way of the dodo bird, I just don't buy it. And I hope it's not true. Maybe I'm just an optimistic person over a thing that I love. But there are some signs. I will say that there are some signs you can see. Have you all started to see that they're starting to offer pickleball at movie theaters? What the fuck is that all about? I'm not kidding. Look at this. There are certain movie theaters that offer pickleball courts. When I was a kid, there was arcades in movie theaters, and you would go there when you were on a date, and you'd try to win a stuffed crab for your date before you go and you see Rock of Ages, where Tom Cruise is, ooh boy, what a role. But the idea that you're gonna have a pickleball court inside of a movie theater to entice people to come in, I like pickleball. I'm a person that actually enjoys pickleball. Those are 2 different parts of my brain that I'm using. I'm not bringing a paddle to a movie theater, okay? Unless it's without a paddle, the film without a paddle, in which case I bet those fellas would love if I had brought a paddle to the theater and I could throw it through the screen. Sort of Phantom of the Megaplex style. Do you guys remember Phantom of the Megaplex? Now there's a movie about the movies. That movie was so about the movies that it took place in a movie theater, and there was a character played by star of stage and screen Mickey Rooney, and his name was Movie Mason. Go check it out if you haven't. I think it's on Disney Plus. But yeah, pickleball courts. That's not great. I don't think that's gonna make people come a running. And also, the movie going experience is fraught with some. There's some things that can go wrong. Namely, the other people that you're seeing the movie with. There have been so many instances where I have had to become an old man and stand up for all the other people in the movie theater because there are disruptive people making noise, they're talking, they're on their phones, and 9 times out of 10, those people are teenage boys. Teenage boys, listen to me right now. It's me, your elder. I used to be one of you, and I made it out. I grew up. Stop coming to movie theaters with your friends and being menaces. It's not cool. It's not fun. Some people in there worked really hard to buy their movie ticket, and other people in there, like me, are members of a subscription service that allows them to see a certain amount of movies every week, and you're burning one of them with your behavior. You're burning one of my reservations. Who's gonna fix that? The manager? I don't think so, because the manager of the AMC is a teenage boy just like you and your friends. But I understand it. I understand whenever you're a teenager, you think it's cool to be bad. You think it's cool to break the rules because your parents aren't around. And maybe that's the heart of the problem. Maybe their parents haven't been around that much. Maybe their parents, certainly even if they have been around, maybe they're bad parents. Maybe they don't know what they're doing. And maybe they've raised a horrible child that thinks it's okay to go see Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium and talk at an outside volume with their friends the entire time. Stop it. You're ruining it for the rest of us. You're gonna make Tom Cruise cry. Do you want to make Tom Cruise cry, fellas? Is that what the end goal of all this is? I mentioned Tom Cruise before with The Rock of Ages. I'll mention him again. Tom Cruise has been a part of this group of Hollywood people that are trying to actively encourage people, go see movies, go to the movies. We love the movies. He's got his popcorn. It's weird how he does popcorn. He throws it from the hip up into his mouth. But he's Tom Cruise, and he's saving the movies, he thinks, and that's awesome. That's really cool. Mission Impossible 8 is in theaters now. I loved it. I went and I saw it opening night on the IMAX screen at the Universal City Walk, which is one of the only real IMAXs in the country. But then you get these ghouls from the streaming services that are like, yeah, we think that movie theaters are going away. People just want to sit in the comfort of their homes and watch our platforms with our amazing original content. Fuck that. All right? I think that both can coexist. I think both can happen. Listen, people that want you to think that movie theaters are going away, or if you're afraid that you're not gonna be able to enjoy the movie going experience in a couple years, what's happening right now already happened a couple times, honestly. TV and streaming is just having the effect on movie theaters that movie theaters had on theaters a long time ago. It used to be if you wanted to see a big production, you had to go watch a live musical or a live play or something like that, and then movie theaters made it so, oh no, you don't actually do that, and look, we can do special effects, we can do all sorts of other stuff. The experience completely changed. Did theaters go away? Is Broadway not as swinging and as fun as ever? Are annoying theater kids not still going to cast parties at Applebee's after their big show and stinking up the joint? Yeah. It's all still happening. It's gonna be fine. And this idea that places like YouTube, where we are right now, or TikTok, or various other video platforms on the internet is contributing to the death of these places, maybe that's true. I saw something when I was growing up, I started to see something crazy, and that's my little brother. He's 10 years younger than me. He didn't really have favorite actors whenever he was in middle school. He had favorite YouTubers and favorite internet personalities, and that blew my mind. I didn't realize that could happen, really, but it's just a generational thing, I guess. But I think there's room for everything. There's room for all of it. It can all exist. All in harmony, all of entertainment. It's a buffet, not a famine. You know what I mean? We can have, if you want to go see a Broadway musical, you can go see a Broadway musical. If you want to listen to a radio play, you can listen to a radio play. If you want to watch an 8-episode miniseries, you can watch an 8-episode miniseries. And if you want to see Chris Evans 100 feet tall on the big screen, you can see Chris Evans 100 feet tall on the big screen. And to the people that use their cell phone phones during movies, I hate you. I hate you. I hate your guts. I hate your families. I hate your extended families. I hate your coworkers. I hate everybody around you that has gotten you to the point where you think that this is okay. This is an acceptable thing to do. I've been in movie theaters where people take calls on speakerphone during the movie, and when we told them, hey, shut the hell up, they got offended and they got mad. Could you imagine being a person that has gotten that behaves that way? What is going on in the mind of these people that they have the audacity? They have the audacity to think that a room full of people who paid to be there want to hear them talking to their stepbrother about what happened at dinner that night. Go to hell where you belong, demon! There's something in this day and age. I think there's something special about a human-to-human connection and a communal experience as things, start to shift into seeming a more digital, virtual world, things like that. I think there's going to be a real premium on these human interactions, these very human experiences that can only be crafted when flesh and blood come together. Now, there's another human experience that happens when flesh and blood come together that I also enjoy, and I do it all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do after a long day of work. I throw that bedroom door open, I crawl over to that mattress, I reach underneath it, and I pull out a Tupperware thing, and I pull out a little Tupperware full of ham, and I lay on my back and I eat ham, raw, regular ham, no cheese, no mayo, no bread. It's ham, baby, and it's going in my mouth. It's flesh into my bones. I think really what I want to say is, don't let the news tell you how the world is, if that makes sense. Don't let headlines dictate what's reality, because sometimes they're clickbait. Whenever people tell you that something is dying or something is going away, going out of business, we have the power to change that simply by going to that place and paying for a ticket, using their services, buying some snacks. That's the other thing is movie theaters. I encourage you as a consumer to get yourself a snack every time you go to a movie theater. Okay, because that's where they make most of their money. They only get they get like 50% of the box office receipts, these movie theater chains. Most of their money comes from concession sales. And I'll leave you with this story. One time I was going to see the movie Beau is Afraid. Now, Beau is Afraid, that is a bug nuts, wacky ass movie, and I would encourage anybody to see it. Just be warned that it gets pretty crazy. But I was going to see Beau is Afraid at the Burbank AMC here in Los Angeles, and I was standing in line to get my popcorn. I was standing behind a father and his tall teenage son, and the tall teenage son and the father, they move along, they get their things and they move along, and all the father got was one drink. He got a drink and the kid got a drink. No popcorn, no snacks, whatever. I think that's classy as fuck. If you're not hungry, if you don't have to go all out and get the combo meal or whatever. You can just rock it with a Coke, with a nice Coke Zero maybe. Feel good about yourself. They move on. The cashier's face it's like he's seen Jesus himself. His eyes are lit up. It's the size of dinner plates. He's freaking out, and he turns to all his friends and he goes, "That's Christopher Nolan." Christopher Nolan and his tall teenage son were standing in front of me in the concession line, and that was pretty cool. We get into the theater, and I am sitting just a couple rows behind Christopher Nolan and his tall teenage son. And then the trailers start to play while he's sipping his one classy Coke and his son is sipping his classy Coke. The trailers start to play. The Oppenheimer trailer plays. People start applauding. There's an applause break for the Oppenheimer trailer, and I watch Christopher Nolan's tall teenage son take his hand and put it on his dad's shoulder, and they both turn and they just give each other a look. Now that is how a teenage boy should behave in a movie theater, and that is the type of human experience that can only happen when you get dressed, get in your car, get on the train, get in a cab, walk through the lobby, get your snacks, get your drinks, sit down, and watch a goddamn picture. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you gleaned something from this. This really was just one man sort of sweating out his really intense feelings about something that he's loved since he was a kid. And I really do hope that you subscribe as well.